The 1982-era UK Elizabeth 20p coin is one of the most mysterious and valuable minting mistakes in British history, and there might still be one sitting in your change right now, so before you spend that old 20p on a coffee or parking meter, stick around until the very end, because by the time we're done, you'll know exactly what to look for. One small coin could change your life. Cue dramatic intro music. The background. Let's start at the beginning, because to understand the rare 1982-era 20p coin, we need to know where it came from. Before 1982, the 20p coin didn't even exist in general circulation. The Royal Mint had introduced the decimal currency system in 1971, replacing the old shillings and pence. Made from cupro nickel, weighing 5 grams, and measuring 21.4 millimeters, the 1982 20p was a heptagon 7-sided, giving it that unique shape we all recognize. Why it's worth a fortune. Now let's get to the part everyone's waiting for: the value. Regular 1982 20p coins are worth, of course, just 20p. But if you have an error version, the value skyrockets into the thousands, and in some cases, collectors have paid eye-watering sums for the rarest ones. A verified 1982 20p mule coin sold privately for over £5,000 in the mid-2000s. Another example, featuring an off-center error and missing reverse inscription, was estimated at £10,000 to £15,000 in collector valuation guides. And coin experts suggest that if one ever appears in pristine mint state condition, especially if authenticated by grading companies like NGC or PCGS, it could command £40,000 to £50,000, possibly more. Why? Because it's not just rare, it's a first-year issue error. That makes it both historically and numismatically priceless. And remember, the value of rare coins doesn't just depend on rarity, it depends on demand. And in this case, the demand is massive. Collectors love firsts, and the 1982 20p was Britain's first. Combine that with an error, that's the perfect recipe for a small fortune. How to identify a genuine 1982 era 20p coin. Now, here's what you need to know if you think you might have one of these treasures hiding in your change. Check the date. It should say 1982, the first year of issue. Inspect the reverse. Look carefully at the Tudor rose side. Does it look off-center? Are the letters of 20p missing, misaligned, or unusually spaced? Those are telltale signs of a minting error. Examine the edge. Most 20p coins have a smooth heptagonal edge. But some error coins show slight distortions or flattening from misaligned presses. Look for double strikes. Hold the coin under a bright light. If you see faint duplicate outlines of the Queen's portrait or the rose, that's an indication of a double strike, another valuable type of error. Get it verified. Don't rely solely on internet photos. The only way to truly confirm you've got a rare 1982 era coin is to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading comp. What if I told you that this seemingly ordinary 1971 UK Elizabeth 5 new pence coin could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of pounds because of a rare minting error? Yes, you heard that right, a tiny coin that most people would overlook could be one of the most valuable hidden treasures in British coinage history. The story of the 1971 5 new pence coin begins in one of the most fascinating chapters in British monetary history, the year of decimalisation. This was the year when the United Kingdom officially transitioned from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to the new decimal system, which we use today. It was a monumental change, one that affected every coin in circulation. And with such a massive overhaul, it was inevitable that mistakes would slip through the cracks. Those mistakes are now what collectors dream of, finding the error coins. One of the most legendary among them is the 1971 era 5 new pence. What makes these coins so extraordinary is that they were never meant to exist in their error form. Some were struck on the wrong metal blanks, others had off-center strikes, double dies, or were struck using test or foreign planchets. Each type of error adds a layer of mystery and value, and depending on the type, these coins can command prices that climb into the hundreds, thousands, or even over £1 million in rare cases when in pristine condition. Among the most sought-after varieties is the off-metal strike. Some 1971 UK Elizabeth 5 new pence coins were accidentally struck on bronze or cupronickel planchets meant for other denominations. Imagine a 5p struck on a 1 blank. The color alone would give it away instantly, appearing in a copper hue instead of silver. Only a few of these have ever surfaced, and when they do, collectors go absolutely wild. One such coin reportedly sold for over £25,000 at auction. Another type of error that sends collectors into a frenzy is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the dies during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or off balance. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Perfectly preserved off-center 1971 5 new pence coins have fetched over £5,000 depending on how visible and dramatic the error is. Then there are the double die errors, which are particularly fascinating. These occur when the die used to stamp the coin has been accidentally impressed twice with a slight misalignment, creating a doubling effect on the lettering or design. On a 1971 5 new pence, this could mean a doubled new pence or even a doubled portrait of the Queen. The visual impact is stunning and so is the value. Coins with strong doubling have sold for £10,000 or more, especially when the doubling is visible to the naked eye. The 1971 5 new pence also has examples struck on foreign planchets, meaning blanks intended for coins of other countries. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious story of the 1971-era UK Elizabeth II new pence coin, a coin that was meant to represent a new beginning for Britain's currency but ended up producing some of the rarest and most valuable era coins in UK history. Have you ever imagined finding a small copper coin in your change that could secretly be worth thousands or even millions of pounds? Of rare minting mistakes, errors so extraordinary that collectors across the world are paying astonishing sums for them. Back in 1971, Britain did something that hadn't been done in centuries. It completely changed its currency system. The country switched from the old pounds, shillings, and pence to a modern decimal system, where 100 new pence made £1. February 15, 1971, became known as Decimal Day, a monumental shift that affected every business, every shop, and every citizen. To prepare for this massive change, the Royal Mint struck millions of new coins with a fresh design, including the new pence coins, ranging from halfpennies to 50-pence pieces. One of the most famous and valuable examples is the 1971 new pence struck on the wrong planchet. Normally, the coin should be bronze, weighing around 7.12 grams. But a few were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations like the smaller 1 new penny or the thicker 10 new pence blanks. These off-metal errors are exceptionally rare. Imagine a 2 new pence coin that's silver in color or unusually light or heavy. These are telltale signs of such errors. Verified examples have sold for jaw-dropping prices, with some fetching £10,000 to £25,000 at major UK coin auctions. Another highly valuable error type is the double strike or misaligned die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice, or the dies that stamp the coin's design are slightly out of alignment. The result is a coin showing a shadowed or overlapping image of the Queen's portrait, lettering, or reverse design. These errors are visually stunning and extremely collectible. A crisp double-struck 1971 new pence in mint condition has been known to sell for £5,000 to £12,000, and depending on how dramatic the doubling appears, values could go even higher. But perhaps one of the most incredible errors from the 1971 series is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank isn't properly seated in the press, causing the design to be stamped off-center. The coin appears lopsided, often showing a blank area of metal where part of the design should be. For collectors, the more off-center the strike and the more of the date and portrait that remain visible, the greater the value. Some 1971 off-center 2 new pence coins have sold for £3,000 to £8,000, and extremely rare examples have reached beyond £10,000. Now, let's talk about the broad strike errors. These are coins struck without the restraining collar that gives coins their perfect round shape. The metal spreads out more than normal, creating a wider, flatter coin. A broad-struck 1971 new pence can look slightly stretched or soft-edged, making it easy to spot. Collectors love these errors for their unique appearance, and depending on condition, they can bring in £1,000 to £3,000 or more. But it doesn't stop there. Some of the most fascinating 1971 new pence errors are the die cap and brockage errors. A die cap error happens when a coin sticks to the die and continues to strike other coins, creating a mushroomed or domed look. A brockage error occurs when one coin gets struck against another already minted coin, leaving a mirror image on one side. These types of errors are extremely rare and visually spectacular. A die cap or brockage 1971 2 new pence coin can easily exceed £15,000, and in some unique cases, collectors have valued them at £30,000 or more. So, the next time you come across a 1971 Elizabeth II new pence, take a closer look. Tilt it under the light. Check the lettering, feel the texture. Because that ordinary-looking coin might not be ordinary at all, it might be one of those rare error coins worth thousands, tens of thousands, or maybe even £1,000,000 or more. We're uncovering the shocking story of the 1983 error UK Elizabeth £1 coin, one of the rarest and most valuable British coins ever struck by mistake. Only a handful are known to exist, and collectors around the world are battling to get their hands on one. So, before you spend that old pound coin, stay tuned till the very end because this tiny coin could make you a fortune. The background. To understand why the 1983 £1 coin is so special, we need to rewind back to the early 1980s, a time of major change in the UK's coinage system. Before 1983, the £1 denomination only existed as a banknote, not a coin. But paper notes didn't last long in circulation, and the Royal Mint wanted a more durable replacement. So, in 1983, they introduced a brand new coin, the £1 coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth I on one side and the royal arms of the United Kingdom on the reverse. Why it's worth a fortune. Now, let's talk about value, because this is where things get truly exciting. While regular 1983 £1 coins are worth just face value, the error versions are in a completely different league. When collectors first discovered this mistake, it caused an uproar in the numismatic world. The Royal Mint quickly acknowledged the existence of the error but never revealed how many were made, only that the number was extremely limited. That mystery, combined with the coin's uniqueness, sent prices soaring. In the early 2000s, examples of this coin began appearing at major auctions. Some sold for £500, others for £1,000. But as awareness grew, so did demand. By the 2010s, certified examples graded by PCGS and NGC fetched between £2,000 and £5,000. And in more recent years, certain pristine examples have reportedly been valued at £10,000 to £20,000 or more, especially when in mint or proof condition. But here's where it gets truly mind-blowing. Experts estimate that only a few dozen of these coins exist, possibly fewer than 50. And as any coin collector knows, scarcity drives value. That means that as time goes on, the 1983 error £1 coin could climb even higher. Some believe future auctions might push it into the hundreds of thousands, or even the £1,000,000 mark if the right collector steps up. So yes, that ordinary-looking coin in your collection could be life-changing money. How to identify a genuine 1983 error £1 coin. If you have an old collection of coins, this is where you want to pay very close attention, because spotting one of these is tricky, but not impossible. Here's how to check if you've got one of the rare 1983 error coins. Check the date. Your coin should be dated 1983 on the Queen's portrait side. Examine the reverse, back. Here's where the magic or mistake happens. A normal 1983 £1 coin should say £1 below the royal coat of arms. But the error coin has new pence or a mismatched design that doesn't belong to the £1 series at all.